Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Ladies Listen Up with co-host Cherrard. Mr. Cherrard, how are you today?
I am doing fine. I am doing
All
fine.
righty, all righty, all righty. Well, before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Optimal word being share. Share this information with someone else. Well, sir, are you ready to dig into today's topic?
Yes, ma'am. I sure am.
All right, I'm gonna dribble a little bit around the court, not on the field, but around the court. Hold on, do, shit's in your court.
Okay. We're talking about everybody plays the fool
Hmm.
and avoiding love after the heartbreak. And it's something that's the fool part is unavoidable. We heard that through Cuba Gooden Sr.'s main ingredient. Everybody plays the fool. What it say? Everybody plays the fool sometime. There's no exception to the rule. Listen, baby, it may be factual, it may be cruel. I ain't lying, but everybody plays the fool.
Hmm.
So, but I think that's where people become afraid and don't want to become vulnerable again after the heartbreak, because we think that we've lost something when we poured love into somebody or some relationship and it doesn't turn out the way that we want it to turn out. But I don't think you could ever lose love. Love is one of those things that the more you give of it, the more you gain. It might not be from the person that you're giving it to, but you're going to get it on the back end from the universe because the universe always balances out whatever it has done.
And that's where I said karma is something else
Yes, it
because what
is.
you put out there, you're gonna get back.
Yeah.
And sometimes and I'll speak this from experience. Sometimes it's challenging to be a loving relational type person and pour and pour and pour, and then
Mhm.
what it seems like you're getting back is not that level of love and respect
Right.
and kindness. So it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around that. But if you're a true believer in karma, then you know that karma is something else. You really want karma on your side, honestly.
Yeah. Karma is not a feminist. She goes after everybody, man and woman.
Absolutely. And I kind of like that. But the thing of it too is that it's something that when you go through heartbreak, and especially when it's multiple times over, you kind of it's
Mhm.
some sense of innocence that's gone. It's some
Yeah.
sense of like sometimes it's hard to learn how to trust again.
Right. And it is. I mean, but for me, it's like I've stated before, I've been the cheater, I've been the cheated on, you know. I've loved someone that to me in my mind was in love with the idea of being in love more
Mhm.
so than actually being in love itself, with the person. So it, I've gone through that. But it's one of them things where I look at it as an experience gain. I've just gained some wisdom, you know, on this journey that we navigate through. And it's just wisdom to me. I don't feel like, you know, I, I tell this joke that I've been heartbroken one time in my life. 25% of my heart was broken, but the homies reeled me in real quick before it got over 25%. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
So and the thing is, hey, I was 19 years old,
Mm.
and you just figure, you know, what they say, nobody told me about the shoe being on the other foot. So the things I was doing, I found out she was doing. You feel me? So
That's 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 funny because I heard a young lady say one day, she said, "Wow, let me see." She said, "Ain't no fun when the rabbit has the
got the
gun."
gun.
I was
And,
like,
and,
that's good. That's real
and,
good.
and Jamie Foxx had a song, she just like me. You know what I'm saying? So all the things that we think we get away with, I mean, women, y'all do the same thing we do, and it's from a lot of times it's from a position of being hurt
Mhm.
previously,
Mhm.
and we're trying not to be the one that get hurt, or we'll even go so far as to act as if we don't care at all.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
we we put up this hard exterior or whatever, And hey, love is supposedly, as one woman's like, what's she say? I'll never fall in love again. Love is a bad thing. Love is a tool. It's a noun and a verb. It's
Mhm.
something you possess, and it's something you do. You could either love someone or you can give them love. So it's a noun and a verb at the same time. It's a tool, something you possess. You control love. Love is not a cold you catch. It's not COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm avoiding this. I'm avoiding this at all costs.
Hey, I wish love was like COVID, where everybody just getting it all of a sudden.
Oh, that's good. Like that's good.
I wish it was.
I'm like, how do I feel about that right there? But yeah, no,
I wish we could. I wish we could just catch love. I wish we could just all, and not for the sake of romantically, but just love, period, and just helping one another out. You see the old lady crossing the street. Hey, help her across the street. Those things that we don't have anymore. Or it seems like we lack a lot of. So.
It seems like it's the opposite now. When somebody does show kindness, it's like, wow, it's a big thing. Or we talked about this on one of the earlier episodes, when somebody opened the door. I had that same experience when I went away to college in Marquette, where people were just so friendly, and like they were just opening the door, and everybody was speaking to everybody, and it was like, oh. And then I remember coming back home, and I had that friendly, hi everybody or whatever, and people was just so angry and just so mean. And I don't know if it's because of the area of Michigan, or what, but I don't know if it's in general or if it's in the southern states, because I don't know, maybe you can help me with this too. I've always thought that people in the southern states had southern hospitality more so in the north. People over in the north seemed like they were just more, they just weren't as friendly, I guess is the best way to put it.
You know what? I think that's what it used to be. I think look, with the advent of social media, BET and the whole 9 yards, really? The South has caught up with the North as far as it's not that way anymore. I mean, the South, remember people used to think the South was slow, and they didn't have the latest fashion and this and that and the other as quickly as we did or whatever in the city. And I think that's something the South has lost. That was a beautiful thing, to be slow, to be, not up on everything so fast or whatnot, because, like you said, we've lost the innocence. In the city, we lose it very early. And now it's not even just the city. No, it's just all over the world now. It's just, we're too quick to just show that hard side, that meanness, that I'm tough. Love is not something I do. It's like, man, if you really want to be hard, love is the hardest thing in the world to do, because you got to make yourself vulnerable.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah. So the one thing, and I hope you're not saying this part of it, because the one thing that I've noticed that when I've met men from the South versus men from the North, they still had that sprinkle of chivalry, or that sprinkle of, I guess what the North hasn't really, I don't know, I don't want to say beat out of them or transition them into. I want to still hope that that's still, there.
Men are men all around the world.
Oh no! No, just say it's not so.
Hey, I'm gonna put it to you this way: they pimping down south, so.
Cherrard, I thought we were gonna have a good week this week. I thought we were gonna have a good week.
Yeah, the down south, they got they pimping on strong down there. I mean, Southern playalistic, Cadillac funky music. I mean.
It's not so. Oh, ladies, I'm trying here. Ladies, I really am.
Hey,
where's our hope then, Cherrard? Tell us where our hope is.
There's hope. There's a lot of hope. I mean, despite what you may see on social media, because it seems like the ones that are the worst of us has the biggest platforms. And it seemed like that's what we're drawn to. And to be funny about it, a lot of women say, I want this kind of man. I want this kind of man. Okay. But in reality, they're drawn to super thug over here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and one woman, she says, she was being very candid. She made a post. She put up, we talked about the Russell Wilson and Future thing. She said, now let's be honest, ladies. Y'all know good and well, y'all know y'all are not in the least attracted to Russell. Y'all attracted to Future and that persona.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because hey, coming up in the city, what did you see a lot of? You saw drug dealers, nice cars, you know, Max Julian coats, kangaroo boots and stuff like that, you know, back in the day. Longines watches and stuff like that, you know, nanny goats, you know, those things.
Don't forget the Lagerfeld. Look, don't forget the Lagerfeld.
That Lagerfeld, man, that came through. Dudes smelling good, like the cool water, the Issey Miyake, and all this other stuff. And women wanted those dudes. You know, those were the cool dudes. Mm-hmm. They didn't want you if you came through with your steel shank boots on. You know, your mom's got from Kmart. They didn't want you. They didn't care if you had straight A's on your work card.
Well, now, has that now changed? Because now we see where that leads us, or do you think that comes with I don't want to say with age and wisdom, because them two don't always go together. But
no, they don't. No, they do not.
Experience, then maybe how about that? Because with experience.
Okay, what I'm
go ahead.
What I'm gonna say about that is that, you know, you still have. It's funny to see a woman that might be a nurse, but her dude is a street guy. And, you know, if that's what you like, that's what you like. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's still about, I think about the end of the day, it's still about energy, you know, the connection of energy more so than anything. So when you see a woman that has 27 degrees, you know, and she kicking it with this dude that don't even have a GED, but, you know, he making that bread out there. And he might have a certain appeal about him that, you know, she might feel safer with him, even though he's more dangerous and can get her into more BS than anybody else. But she feels safe with him.
You see, and that's true, and that's what I don't think that really like gets down in the thought process when you're selecting or you're picking. I think some folks pickers are off, because if you're not thinking about, like, you're thinking about the instant. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking about the instant thing. You're thinking about what you're seeing up front. You're thinking about this, but you're thinking about this instant part of it, not the long term. And I think that was like one of my issues, you know, because I didn't have a lot of balance. So if somebody was like exciting or fun, it was, you know, and it was like, okay, well, that's a whole different balance than me just, maybe, I don't know. I don't think I was a nerd or anything. Maybe I was and didn't know it. I don't know. But I'm just saying, just, you know, being like book oriented and studies and learning and somebody fun, you're only thinking about that instant high of fun. You're not thinking about that long term, you know, what I want to say, the long term results, you know. And so I think when we talk about balance or balancing yourself out, or, you know, that's where it becomes important. But you have to think about all of that, like up front. It's okay to have fun with somebody, but if you're talking about a long-term partner and just knowing where you are and knowing what you want. So are you looking for a long-term partner, or are you looking for somebody to have fun in the moment? I think that's how we kind of get things mixed up sometimes. And also with the go ahead, what were you gonna say?
You know, I'm just writing something down. It says, you know, women and men will allow someone to play with their emotion for years. They will allow this one person to burn them out, you know, burn them out to the point where I don't want to love no more. I don't want no more relationships. You're judging any and everybody based on this one person that you chose to deal with, you know, for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden you're mad at the whole world, when in actuality you should just look at yourself as like, oh man, okay, I was dumb, I was this, I was that. Forgive yourself and move on and give it another try. You know, so now you know that's not the kind of man or woman you want. You know,
exactly.
That's how I look at it.
Exactly. Even giving it that thought process, though. You know, I go back to that. You know, and then all these things just starts like a light bulb came on, and I started thinking about these things myself. And I hear, you know, some other women talking about that too. It's like, okay, you have a choice, like you have a decision to make, and whoever you open that door to and allow into your life, they're bringing all that with them. They're bringing the energy with them. They're bringing whatever issues or baggage they have. That even the point of, you know, mating with somebody, or, you know, starting a family with somebody. You know, these are lifelong decisions that we're making based on meeting somebody up front. And when you say everybody plays a fool, oftentimes when you don't pay attention to the, I hate to always say red flags because that's, kind of, but when you don't pay attention to those little signs and things up front, then everybody plays the fool. You continue to play that fool because you continue to, close your eyes to those issues because maybe you like that package or you like that, that sweet talk or that, would you say Izzy Miyake or that? if that's the case, go buy yourself and put it on your pillow. Don't worry about that issue right there.
Hey, some smell good has gotten a lot of women in trouble. I've heard, like he smells so good, I couldn't help it. A scent and a aroma.
Wait, let me tell you. No, let me tell you what happened. Okay, so there, and I don't know if I don't even want to say, I'm not gonna say the name because I'm not advertising for a company, but there's a company, everybody know who I'm talking about, that sells, lotions and scrubs and everything. Well, they had this one, and I did this experiment, and I'm telling you, it worked. They had this jasmine vanilla. It was massage oil, and it also was like a whole line of aromatherapy.
I'm giving away. In it?
Oh my goodness! Let me tell you, them pheromones no joke. Because I put some on one day, and I forgot I was in a mall, and I don't like dry hands, so I rubbed some on my hands. And I'm telling you, oh boy came around the corner, and he was like, and I thought about it after I did it, because he was like, it just popped the pheromone out of
you made it look like he was primitive. He came out, me see girl see me,
Exactly what it was. And when I thought about that, I was like, oh, those pheromones, that's not no joke. So when you said that smell good, that's, this for real, because think about it. Somebody, and then sometimes men and women, they study. So, they got the right look, they got the right, they're in the gym, they got the right pheromones on, they got they oiled all up and, and all that or whatever. So you got to be on your A game and scout out what's behind all of that. What's on the inside? What's the energy like? Because all of that plays a part.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I've never experienced that. I mean, somebody has smelled good to me, but not to the point where I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Which way should go,
I'm telling you. And that was that jasmine vanilla, that hot oil jasmine vanilla. Yeah, and it's another one they have, and I think it's the male or whatever. It works. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to endorse anybody because that might be a good product to come out with. But yeah, you can, through the senses and through the sight. So, but if we're not aware of all of these things and we're not aware of what's going on, just like, you used to go to the mall and some of the places would sample out, food samples, and they get you hooked because of the food samples. And the same thing, we talked about love being a drug like cocaine before, that high. My girlfriend was telling me the other day about, knowing that the guy that she was talking with, knowing that he was just lying. But the conversation felt good, so she just listened, And so, we just have to be aware. And when you're aware, you can make better choices, right? You still thinking about them pheromones?
No, I'm thinking, you can be aware of all you want, but if you're not disciplined, then it doesn't matter how much awareness you have. I mean, because you still have women and men and women that will still get caught up with the same person over and over again. It's just in a different shell, but the same BS, It's like
So what do you think that is, though?
What do I think it is? Yeah. I just think that there's just a certain energy that people automatically connect with. Mm-hmm. And that's what draws them, because when somebody asks me, well, why does it keep happening to me? Well, you got to change your vibration. You're operating on a very low vibration right now. Your frequency level is low. So if you transmute yourself and travel and get on another bandwidth or whatnot, you will get something different. They say if you change your mind, you'll change your world. So that's what you have to do. Stop wanting this You know what? I think in my mind, I think women have this idea of tough and what tough is. And, they have the image that's sold to them on TV, but then there's reality of what tough is. There's a lot of dudes out that sell dope in the whole 9 yards that are really not tough at all. You got a lot of dudes out here that don't get involved in street stuff, but they'll hand your hat to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what women have to understand and realize when they're looking for tough, you have to look at a man. It's like, okay, not being a punk doesn't mean you sell dope.
Mm-hmm.
A man is a man, no matter what he does. Hey, if he out there in the streets, okay, he can still be a tough guy. He could go to work every day and be a tough guy. It's you have to be able to judge these characters better than just looking at the exterior of somebody. You got to get to know somebody.
Yeah. You back in my lane again. You just love being in my lane of interrogation, but I'm not gonna go there. I want to ask you something though.
Yes, ma'am.
Change your vibration. Go back there. Give us a little bit more on how to do that. Because I need to change my vibration. Yes, but how do I do that?
What's called self-reflection. You have to actually sit down, and then you have to actually be honest with yourself and ask what part did I play in all of this mess that just happened. And you have to be brave enough to ask questions of yourself, because it's so easy for us to point out what somebody else has done to us. Mm-hmm. I was just talking to my daughters about perception and intention, but see, what perception and intention right in the middle is called communication. And if we don't have communication, our perception could be totally wrong about somebody's intentions. Okay, now what we have to do in knowing that this was our perception or their intent on something, now we have to go back and ask, okay, what did we do? How could I have done something differently to have a different outcome? Because we can't keep doing the same old thing and then expect something different, So mm-hmm. as you do your self-reflection, you may want to ask your friends. You want to ask somebody close to you to ask them, what do they see in you? Because maybe you don't notice it. We just have to be brave enough to ask those questions about ourselves, and then be open and honest and open-minded enough to accept what we're about to hear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think when you said go back to self-reflection, I want to lend something to the conversation, or something that I learned as a business term. And in one of our meetings, we talked about STAR. And when you say self-reflection, knowing yourself and knowing the people that you're around helps you to be more successful. So even in relationships, if and the STAR is an acronym for S being structure, or like to have structure. T is technical, A is action, and R is relational, like people, like people. Okay. So I think when you're talking about balance, knowing yourself, there's another one out there, is true colors. And if you learn what you like, because a lot of times this is something, like sometimes I'll take these self-assessments because it's things that I learn about myself. You'll kind of know. So if you look at it, like for me, I'm structured, and I'm also an action person. So you know that if you're with another structure and action person, then the relational part might suffer, or the technical side of your relationship might suffer. So when you really start to get deeper into, you want to have a successful relationship, then learning your partner, that's where that, upfront conversation and everything is. Mm-hmm. But sometimes just listening to the person is not enough, because sometimes people, they'll listen to you and they'll feed you back they'll parrot back to you what you just said that you wanted, or what you said you liked, mm-hmm. or what have you, versus them actually being who they are. And so when you start, and then sometimes people don't even really, sometimes people are like chameleons. They don't really mm-hmm. know themselves. And so I think when you really get down to the deep side of it, learn it, to thyself be true, learning yourself, but learning what type of person you are. What is it? Like sitting back. I like that, what you said about self-reflection. A lot of times I think people, they say, I want to avoid love after a heartbreak, instead of, like you said, sitting down and even writing it out. Like, what is it that what happened? What really happened? Was it miscommunication? Was it, lack of empathy or caring for one another? Was it, somebody was just all self-centered, all into themselves? What was it? So that you don't
Or
go back and repeat it over again.
or was it this person showing us the signs from day one and we just ignored it because we wanted to make it what we wanted it to be and not recognize it for what it truly is,
Absolutely. I think it's falling in love with potential.
Oh yeah.
Because you can do that. You can, and I've been guilty of that big time, because see, I've been given a gift of being able to see the talents in other people. And I want to say it's a double-edged sword, because, I'll throw one of my marriages out there when I was young, because I've been married twice. First time I was just very, very young. The second time, it was just incompatibility all the way around. But I didn't know that. I didn't take time to assess what happened in the first marriage. I just blamed it on age, but it was incompatibility. It was, that falling in love with potential. Because I had that gift, and because I'm a nurturer, I have the gift of seeing talents in other people. But something that I learned, you can't see more in somebody else than they want for themselves.
Right.
And you can be that supportive person to them, But for instance, and I'll put this out there because it's, hey, it is, I'm being transparent. I was in real estate when I was married, and he was in, he loved like fixing, repairing, and doing maintenance. And so I said, okay, instead
You
of,
thought you was gonna have an HGTV show, huh?
I tried. It didn't work. It was my idea, so it didn't work, because he kept saying I wanted to wear the pants, and I'm like, I'm saying I'm getting these inspectors, and at that time you could refer inspectors. So I said, every time I have this inspector I have a relationship with, every time he comes into a house, he's this $375, $400. This could be in our household. And so no, he didn't want to do that. But guess what? He still picked up and was doing odd work. And I'm like, why can't we be a team? And why is it that when you get married, sometimes it's like now you're no longer like the friendship or whatever you had before, it now becomes a competition. Yeah. How do we avoid these things? And I think, again, that I ignored a lot of the red flags in the initial conversations and in initial whatever. I ignored all that because I saw the potential of what we could be together. This amazing, hey, we keeping the money in the house. We both on our grind, but he didn't see it that way. He saw it as competition. So, I think I could have easily been one to be, bitter and say, forget it. But I just happened to, I'm a hopeless romantic. And I believe in love, and I believe that is out there. I just think that I have to work on myself to position myself better, as far as seeing things and acting on what I'm seeing, instead of feeling like you can nurture or love somebody into their greatest potential. And then in that, it's going to be a great stew, or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, love is one of the most simplistically complicated things on the planet Earth.
And I kind of got that. I got what you said.
It's simple, because all you got to do is just do it. But it's complicated because so much can happen and be destroyed if you do it with the wrong person. You can give love to an individual that'll just keep taking from you until you feel like you have nothing left to give to not even yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think a lot of people have gotten to, when they say, I don't want love no more, love sucks, this and that and the other. It's not love sucks. It's just your choices of who you gave it to suck. I say, you're not really mad at love. You're mad at yourself for not being able to not just see, but to detach from. See, that's the problem. We have a problem with detachment. We attach ourselves to people, and then we attach ourselves to people in such a way that it's about ownership. That's my woman, that's my man. No, that's just an individual that y'all have this mutual contract with, or this understanding that we're going to be exclusive until we're not. So
people like that, though. They love that. They love to say, they love to claim you, or claim, they love that this, it's like they won. It's like they won. So, but does not that go back to the person, and the person having some issues that they need to work through themselves? They're not free. Like,
it's not just the person. It's a societal thing to me, because society says that's my wife, that's my husband, when in fact we're one. No, we're not. We're still two people. We're still two people that's working interdependently together to try to make this thing work. We're a team. When you get on the basketball court, what do? Y'all move in unison together. The better y'all move as a unit, the more successful you'll be, right? When there's one person that's out of whack, you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? So if one person's out of whack, but everybody else is playing playing their hearts out, but this one person isn't, you got to replace that person. That's how it is with a relationship. If you're doing, and that person is not reciprocating that back to you, it's time to detach yourself. And I don't understand why people can't detach from other people.
Because they get because for one, it's because it depends too. If you're that person that gives 100 and that person gives 100, if you're that, well, let me say not that person giving 100, because then it will work. But I'm saying if you're that person that gives 100, okay, and then you start measuring. I think people jump too fast into giving everything. And I'm gonna say, the only reason I'm saying that is because until you really get to know that person and you both are showing each other that you are 100% in, a lot of times people will from off the rip, or day one, 2 days later, they're moving in together. Well, you haven't had the opportunity to really get to know that person. And I'm saying I totally agree with being 100% in. I do agree that. But you said, why is it so hard to detach? Because oftentimes when you put so much in, and it depends on, again, going back to your personality type. I'm a cleric personality. So I know, and I've learned this with myself, I have to make sure that I do all of these things, all of these healthy things up front, because I'm cleric. When I put my ladder or attach my ladder to a building, I'm one of those ones that's hard to detach from. I'm hard to detach myself from it because I've committed so much to it. And I say, okay, everybody has a learning curve. I'm giving all of these excuses or reasons, or, and then the craziest thing too, is I've seen some people that I have, some men that I've been in a relationship with, and they're doing so well. And a lot of the things that I taught them, they'll say thank you for it, or that I showed them, or, and they've shown me some things too. It just hasn't been on me or whatever, but I'm just saying, wow, you think, man, if we could have did that together, we'd be here. But now I know that it wasn't meant, and I get all of that. But going back to that attachment part of it is not trying not to be so hardcore that, okay, they give me 80. So now some people, everybody are different in their learning too, in their learning curve. I know you're struggling with it, because I'm struggling with trying to get it out. The freaking cleric personality. I put my ladder on a building, and I'm like, that is the right building. We're going to make this thing work. That's the right building. We're going to pray about it. We're going to da 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 da. And then, sometimes they kick your ladder.
Detachment is actually a very powerful way to show somebody that you love them. When you detach from somebody, because you wake up and you come to an understanding with yourself that this is not working. If it's not working, okay, it's time to be honest and say, hey, this is not what I want. I want you to still be happy in all your ventures, this and that and the other. For me, we don't have to, part as enemies. We can part as friends and keep it moving. You know what I mean? And I know some people say, oh, I can't be friends with my ex. I mean, you don't have to go to dinner with them, and you don't have to kick it with them on a regular basis, call them up on the phone like you used to. But a relationship ending shouldn't, you shouldn't lose somebody you said you love and gain an enemy. If nothing happened bad, you know what I'm saying? It's just we mutually part because it just doesn't work. If it just doesn't work, then we have to understand, so we got to do one of two things. We got to sit down and be adults and see what's what, why isn't it not working, and work on it. Or we have to sit down and be adults and say, hey, I don't think this is going to work. And I think we should stop spinning our wheels and wasting our time, each other's time, and let it go. It's you know, and it's not being hard. It's just being, for me, if I say I loved you, I want you to prosper and do all those good things with or without me. You know, I want to see the best for everybody.
But see, Cherrard, I think that's where we get right back to that first part of really getting to know people before you attach yourself to them. Because when you jump and do it too quickly, then you look up and you're not in a relationship with a healthy person. So a healthy person doesn't understand that. And then it's also the goose that laid the golden egg. So it's like it's like the person um is really just not in a healthy place. So if you attach yourself too quickly to somebody that, and this is the thing too, of what I want people to understand, it, coming from, my history of, of domestic violence, it people are not like, especially like narcissistic personalities, they can be this handsome, charming, giving person, but you have to really, and I want to say as women, but as people, because there are some narcissistic women out here as well.
Amen.
Learning.
Amen.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I know it. I know this, right? For a fact, I've encountered some of them, so I get it, okay? But I'm saying, Cherrard, it's not always that simple, because if you're talking about two healthy people, then absolutely yes. But if you're talking about somebody that has some things that they need to work on within themselves, and then they meet somebody, so now you're talking about two people that possibly become codependent on one another. You're talking about maybe somebody that has a narcissistic personality that's hiding it. You may have a passive aggressive person. Think about a passive aggressive person and a narcissistic person coming together. Now you try to end that relationship.
Oh, it's gonna end. Somebody gonna be in the grave.
But I'm just saying it's hard. Yeah, I'm just saying that's so. Those are the things that come. I mean, and it would be wonderful if it would be wonderful if we can learn these different habits and different skill sets before we get into a relationship. That's why it's so important. When you come out of a relationship, we say everybody plays the fool, avoiding love after a heartbreak. Some people avoid it because, again, they're still not in a healthy place, because they haven't seeking to understand more even about themselves. That's why I brought in, the self-reflection and learning who you are, because sometimes we're just going through the motions out here, and then you run into one of these personality types. Now you up the creek without a paddle, because you're trying to figure out how to escape this relationship, and then it goes into all this toxicity. So it would be beautiful if everybody could have that healthy, demeanor, outlook, the healthy that you have. But you said to yourself, it took time to develop it.
Oh yeah.
So it depends on, a lot of this is going back to something that we just for some reason we pay attention to everything else. We learn our professions, or we learn our skills, but we have counselors in our money. We have counselors in accounting or in all these other things. Yeah. But when we talk about a counselor or a therapist or a third party negotiator or education, we don't do any of that. And think about it, coming together with somebody and marrying somebody, that's like one of the most intimate things that you're going to do in your life. Someone raising children with somebody, building a house with them, with this partnership. Now, sometimes we put we invest more effort and time into our partnerships, our business partnerships or collaborations, than we even do with our work personal. And so if you're spending all that time doing all development in all these other areas, but you're not developing the relational part of it, or your relationship, or the person you got to go home at night, or you got to put sleeping with the enemy with Julia Roberts, she had to fake her own death to get out of the marriage, and he still came after her. And I know some of these examples, these are true life stories. This is stuff that really happens. Or what is it? Who is it? Enough with who was it? With Jennifer Lopez. Yes, with Enough, and him being a police officer. And sometimes we get into a relationship with somebody that is in a high level position or status or what have you, and nobody can think that they can do any wrong. Like, it's another movie, Citation. Man, let me tell y'all something. Go watch Citation. That one right there. yeah, a couple movies out here. I think they owe me some they owe me some residual income on it, because Citation ain't no joke. And he was the professor there was so high leveled that he already knew it. He was an arrogant narcissist himself. So he already knew that he could do whatever he wanted to do and get away with it, until somebody actually stood up and really stood up to him and put everything on the line and stood up to him. So I'm just saying that, going back to our topic, everybody plays a fool. I think to thyself be true. We have to go through some personal development, because there's something in us that keeps allowing us to open that door to all these different people with bad energy or with defective energy. I'm gonna say defective energy.
Well, I think what we have to realize is that you don't lose love. You don't lose it. You just stop using it. You stop giving it out.
Good.
When folks have been in a long-term relationship and it ends, that's like a prime recipe for disaster, with a person saying, oh, I done put in so much of time, I'm tired, and this and that and the other, I'll never do this again. But honestly, what it should have been was a lesson learned. It was a teachable moment. No matter how long it was for, you were taught a lesson. So the lesson was like, it's not love that's doing anything wrong to anybody. We need to stop looking at it like that. Love is not a bad thing at all. Love is not a weak thing. Love is like the ultimate strength you can have. And love is the only thing that can heal what's going on in the world today. No matter what kind of relationship you have, if there's no love involved in that relationship, as far as, just genuinely caring for a person. Okay. You can genuinely care for somebody and don't want anything happen to them, but you don't have to be with them. We got to learn to just simply say, okay, I'm gonna walk away from this thing. I want you to be good. I want everything in your life to fall in place like you wanted to. That's why we're talking about, can a person love two people at the same time? They sure can. Yes, they can. They and that's the thing. We allow ourselves to get closer to an individual, to the opposite sex, and we're involved in somebody, and we allow ourselves to get too close, and then now we got inner turmoil going, and that can be draining. Trying to hold off one while trying to hold on to this one. It's that could be something in and of itself that can lead you to, oh, I'm drained, I'm just tired. But you have to go back to say, okay, that was foolish of me to even attempt to do things like that, or do a thing like that.
Right.
So when we say everybody does play the fool. Everybody has put their love, their all, or something into somebody and didn't get back what we thought we should have got back. And we've loved somebody that just played us just outright, was in our face, the whole nine yards. They didn't hide, sugarcoat nothing. They played on us. They showed us, like, well, I don't really care about you, but if you're going to keep time and time again forgiving me time and time again, I'm going to keep playing you some more to see what I can get out of you. So, but that's our fault. That's our fault that we get played so much, so often, for so long.
Taking responsibility. We got
to take accountability for the things that's why I say, you look in the mirror and you self-reflect. Michael Jackson's song "Man in the Mirror" is the dopest song on the planet to me, because just like he said, you want everything to change, you got to start with the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror. Look at that person and engage that person. Actually look into the soul of that individual. Look into your own eyes to see your own soul, to see what can you do to stop yourself from falling into these different predicaments when it comes to love. Because love is not the bad thing. It's your decision making. It's the vibration, the frequency at which you are putting out. That's what it is. That's why you keep getting the same old things in a different package.
Law of attraction. I'm listening. I took so many doggone notes. I filled my notebook up today because it's the truth. Sometimes we know certain things, but we need to hear it again. And I think that's what we do with our podcast. We help people to put it in their face. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Put it in your face and really see yourself and to really understand. And sometimes it's, we just don't say those hard things. And, this is really good when you talk about you said an experience of gain. So we gain wisdom, and love is not the bad thing. And I think that's putting things in proper perspective. Putting things in proper perspective is so good. This is really
love is the ultimate power, man. That's like I read a book called Power versus Force. Mm-hmm. Power versus Force. Oftentimes they say the United States has such a powerful military, right? Mm-hmm. China has a powerful military. The government is powerful. There's only one true power in the world, and it's love. Everything else is force. The military is there for force because for every action, there's an equal reaction. Mm-hmm. So when the military, no matter if you win or not, you're still going to lose something, right? Mm-hmm. Put out love and look at it differently. If I keep putting out love, okay, you might play me for the food this time. She might play me again, that person, but I'm putting out love and I'm going to keep on moving in my light. This is my choice to give out love. And it's my choice to, I'm not going to take it back from you either. I'm going to let you have some of it. Take it with you. Maybe you will understand what it was that you possessed when you had it. Mm-hmm. And then maybe you will open your eyes and say, you know what? I treated him or her wrong. The next person, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to treat better. So we going to give out love like it's little pieces of light. We want to give that away so we can illuminate the whole world, right? Because that's what love is. Love shows you where you're going, where you've been, in the whole 9 yards. And if you sit back and really think about this and be really critical of yourself, so you have to be critical to a point, but then you also got to forgive yourself. You got to be able to, because a lot of people say, I was so stupid, and they'll beat themselves up about it. No, you don't beat yourself up. Learn to forgive yourself, because that's what forgiveness is anyway. If this person played me for the fool, I'll forgive you. Because ultimately you did what I allowed you to do. Yeah. And then now I forgave you. Now I got to forgive me. And I'm going to keep it moving. And I'm going to keep a smile on my face. And I'm going to make sure that the energy that I give out around other people, I want to walk into a room and people will be like, oh, that's my man's right there. Hey, I dig him. I don't want to walk in, people like, ooh, here he comes. He sucks the air out the room. Every time he breathes, he sucks. Right. He just inhaled. We can't even breathe now because he done took the air out the room. I don't want that to happen. So yeah, I would be, in in fear of the hood hearing what I'm saying. I would love to, like, hey, Rod, what is that? I would love to give out love to everybody. Boom. Here's your little piece of light. Here's your little piece of light, and use it when you need it. Wow. Because that light doesn't ever go dim. Mm-hmm. You can cover it up, but when you take your hand off of it, hey, it'll shine again. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to focus on. Love is the only thing that's going to cure what's tearing this whole place up right now. Wow. So there is no such thing, no other power on the earth but love. Because love is the only thing. Literally, love is the only thing that can make a person do something for you without you forcing them.
Wow, that's a good point. That's a good, wow.
Because how many times have you done something for somebody? They just ask you, can you do something for me? Sure. And you go do it. Yeah. And there's no resentment from that, right? Now, if I take you and grab you, like, go fix me something to eat.
Oh, yeah.
In the back of your mind, you thinking, how can I poison this dude and get away with it? You know what I'm saying? But if I come home, show you love all the time, like baby, boom, how you doing, and kiss you, boom. I don't even have to ask you for a meal now. It's there.
Wow. And if everybody could get that lesson, if everybody could get that, it's the truth. That is so powerful. Man, we have run out of time, but this is a topic that we need to continue with this topic, because man, this some good stuff for sure. This is a good way to begin the week. So Sarah, I thank you very much.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know, I don't even want to ask you for a closing today, because I mean I had to sit back and just like, okay, you know.
No, the closing is gonna be short and sweet.
Okay.
Everybody has played the fool. Everybody has done it. That don't mean you have to keep doing it. And once you recognize that you have played the fool, then you have given yourself your power back. You've taken it back, because I recognize what it was that I did that caused me to be in this predicament. So no longer will I play the fool. I will sit back, self-reflect, judge myself critically, blame myself for the things that I've done wrong, but then I'm gonna forgive myself at the end of the day and keep it moving.
Wow. So what I mean, there's so much that I learned today. I guess just take back your power is something that,
Just
you know, take back your power. And that's what I'm going to leave us with today. So with that being said, sir, thank you so much for your positive, amazing energy today. We appreciate you. So don't forget. I mean, I'm still digesting this conversation, but in closing, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else, and don't forget, stay fearless. Bye for now.